All right, welcome everybody, and welcome to a new episode of our Deal Winners AMA. Today we have Raymond, who is going to be joining us shortly. I'll introduce him. He has done a lot of flips and very experienced. And the purpose of the Deal Winners Ask Me Anything is really to invite active deal makers and deal winners that are thriving in their local market and share some of their best tips so we can all use and apply in our own market so we can bring success to everybody. And so we have some very exciting guests and really awesome content here for everyone. So welcome again. So let's get started. Real Estate IQ, we are a solution-based company. One of our leading core products is the motivated seller off-market data. We also offer additional services to help you grow your business as you continue to advance your entrepreneurial journey. We want to show some deals with you, some live deals, and actually Raymond got a couple of deals prepared for us as well, and we want to showcase to you. These are the couple of deals we have sold or in pending, and this is a live deal right now in Dallas. The contract price, the asking price is $149,000, and some repairs, and we're looking at about $240K ARV. So if you're interested, scan the QR code, and someone from our team is going to reach out to you. So if you want to have access to our deals in a timely manner, just join our buyers list, and we'll send you the deals directly. You can also comment your email on the show, and we'll add you to the list. Now, before we start with our main content today, we want to start with some market insights. What's going on? What are the trends in the market right now? So we're going to start with that. What's happening? So, we see a small dip in early 2024, but we are seeing a big year-over-year home price gains. And this is now the consecutive 149 consecutive months. How many years is that? That's more than 12 years now, where we are seeing a year-over-year price growth. And obviously, we have questions on, affordability and how that's going. Now, obviously, as real estate investors, this is trending to the part where it might be harder to sell, but it's probably easier to acquire deals. And we have a lot more momentum with homeowners. If they're sitting on a lot of equity, they're looking for cashing out. And in fact, we're seeing that. And we're also seeing properties are sitting on the market for a lot longer now, too. They're having trouble selling. We're seeing home prices rising 6.1%. This is a pretty complicated chart. And but kind of forecasting the home price growth to be about 3%. So these are the top 5 high potential markets with home price increases. We have New York, Tampa, and St. Pete. They just experienced a hurricane. A lot of folks got flooded and evacuated from the area too for safety reasons. Next, we want to look at the interest rate. So we're seeing an average main drop in interest rate that's been covered in the last AMA, the last market insight. But then we're also kind of still seeing a fluctuation of mortgage rates. And so we'll continue to monitor that. The average rate as of today is about 6% for a 30-year fix. So the drop in mortgage rate hasn't yet led to a big increase in application. We're still seeing an increase, but we're now in a slow season of home buying. And so sellers are kind of bracing into that. In fact, we're seeing sellers who are seeing their houses sitting on the market for a long time. They're getting a little more desperate and much more motivated in terms of trying to sell their house before the winter season. Um, a couple of additional things that we're seeing is that, especially for motivated sellers who, let's say, they don't want to put in the money to fix up their house, they're getting more and more desperate, and we're seeing more deals on the MLS also coming on the MLS. So, kind of looking at the new listings, in terms of number of new listings, we're looking at about just a little bit over 4%. And these are the active listings in the top 5 market in the nation today. And we see the Colorado market is just breaking the top 5, right? All right, we're gonna skip a couple of these steps and kind of jump into our AMA. Raymond, we have been getting our conversations going. I got to know Ray a little bit in the past month. Ray has done over 80 successful flips since 2016, and we'll also ask Ray to share his story too. He has a very inspiring story, starting becoming a real estate investor, starting being a contractor, and then kind of finding his way into real estate investment, and finding a lot of success too in starting to hold properties for cash flow, and really building his operation. And now he's doing a lot of deals. And so we're gonna invite Raymond up here now. Raymond, I'm gonna add you on stage. And I want to let you know about your camera. We're seeing kind of let's see. Oh, we see you now. We see a full screen of you. How are you?
Good, good, good.
Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. That market report that you put out, is that nationwide as far as housing on the open market now?
Yeah, it's nationwide.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a nationwide trend that we're monitoring.
Awesome.
So Raymond, would you tell us your story? Share with us your story into the real estate investor journey. How did you get started?
So I got started, oddly enough, as a contractor, as a tile installer, and I linked up with a good a real estate investor. He did fix and flips, and as I started talking with him, I found out that he was a math teacher, and I was like, "Hey, Vince, shoot, if you're just a math teacher, I could do this too, right?" And he was like, "Yeah." Well, he actually put on a course here in the Colorado area. He used to do mentorships. So I started running through numbers with him and started seeing how the process ran. And after I felt comfortable with it, I started JVing with other investors. They would bring their capital, and I would bring our crew to come and do the full renovation. We'd knock them out quick, and we'd split profits. So that was really my start into it, by getting a mentor that I provided value back to him as far as getting his flips done in a timely manner. And he showed me some of the behind the scenes ways of structuring deals and what to look for.
I see. And I think, how did you break into the game, Raymond? In terms of partnering with investors, what kind of equity split do you usually start?
So I started off with 20%, and worked my way up to then 50% equity. And then basically the way that I would find these investors is they would come to me through referrals, through the network that we had created. Yeah.
Got it. And Raymond, you're from California, right? When did you move to Colorado, and what kind of prompted the change?
I was chasing the work, really, just for higher wages. I moved around a little bit, trying to find the best place where I wanted to grow a business at. I moved from Oklahoma and Florida as well. and it was just basically just finding where the highest wages that we could possibly get as far as being in the construction field.
I see. And you also get to see around the nation and kind of see the
Yeah,
local markets in different area too.
absolutely. I like traveling to different cities and exploring and just really seeing what that city has to offer. You know, each place is going to have something different.
Absolutely. Most of our viewers are very interested in finding and winning deals. So Raymond, would you give some recommendation, maybe your personal experience on when you say first started, maybe we have a little bit less budget. What would you recommend to how to start in terms of marketing and getting deals?
That's going to vary. I mean, depending on the capital that somebody has available for them. I started off just by looking at wholesaler opportunities. They would bring me opportunities to look at, you know, all the name brand big wholesalers that are out there. I would take their deals and then just I didn't care what they said, what the purchase price was. I would just go ahead and run numbers and
Mm,
see where my maximum allowable offer came in at. Um, so I'd start if you don't have any money at all, or you're just barely starting out in real estate. I'd say start looking at every wholesaler's deals,
mm,
and don't just get emotional about it and be like, "Oh, this is a great deal." Well, why is it a great deal? Can you show mathematically why it's a great deal? And if you can't, link up with somebody that can help you with the underwriting. There's a lot of people out there that will look at your deal and show you why it doesn't work or why the margins are too thin. If you do got a little bit of capital, I am seeing a lot of the inbound lead generation working a lot better.
mm.
It does. It's going to cost you a little bit of money. Like I know that you guys offer a marketing service as well, as far as lead generation, and just start going through the repetition of putting in offers is what I would say, and knowing what a good deal is. Just get the. A lot of people have the maximum allowable offer, the equation available for you to look at, and just know that it's no emotions. It's just a numbers game. So if the numbers don't work, it doesn't work. Put in an offer on what can work. Yeah.
Yeah. So Raymond, I think I heard you say joining buyers list, right? Join buyers list of wholesalers and start looking at deals and start evaluating the deals. And you probably either need a deal evaluation tool. What I mean is specifically running comps, right? So we can understand the market value of the property, uh,
Right.
and then um, and then also start practicing submitting offers based on those offers. And I find that very helpful too, because conceptually, right, or theoretically, we understand the formula. We might have seen the formula several times now, and multiple times. But when you're actually evaluating a particular deal and do it multiple times, it's through practice that you really I guess, fully learn how exactly
Right.
to
Right.
evaluate deals. And you also mentioned doing inbound marketing with a little bit of budget. And I would say that if you have a little bit of capital, I would highly recommend having a marketing budget, and consistently put, what do you think, Raymond? 3 months or 6 months of a particular amount of budget and just consistently working that.
So I get a lot of new people reach out to me on a daily basis, trying to get their start in real estate or in wholesaling. And if you don't have the motivation and the capital for 90 to 120 days, just hold off until you do. or go work with somebody that does,
Hmm.
and they'll point you in the right direction. So I'd say 90 to 120 days. If you can't consistently say that I pounded the phones and I took action for 90 to 120 days on one strategy, not all the different strategies that are available for us, but one strategy for 90 to 120 days, then you didn't even really give it a good shot. You know, you didn't even really try, because it's going to take time. It's going to take time to build rapport, trust, and your closing ability as well, and understanding what a good deal looks like.
Yeah, I will also add the ability to establish a pipeline. What we mean is creating the funnel of leads
Agreed.
that keeps advancing in different stages.
Yep.
And I think the last thing you want, at least psychologically, is just have one lead or one deal, and you're just like, man, this is the only one I have, and you just keep pounding the same lead or the same leads. Uh, it's not necessarily the best approach, because when the seller realizes that you're desperate, they may
Right.
start backing out. And so the best position to have is that you have multiple opportunities at all time, and you always have kind of new opportunities joining. So you're kind of constantly managing a pipeline, and
Agreed.
that's gonna yield a deal, right? Every no, it gets you closer to it. Yes.
Agreed. I always tell everybody too. You know, I've been ugly my whole life, so you got to have a little bit of rhyme. You got to have a little bit of finesse in the situation. And if you're so desperate on that one deal, then they do see through that. And I always encourage people not to. It's not about the money. It's about the problems that you solve. What are you? And that's how we get paid. The bigger the problem is, the more I make on the transaction.
Yeah, that's a really good mindset. Another mindset I found that was really helping is, I fell into the trap in the beginning for marketing, is that we're trying to, reach as many people as possible, and almost begging them to do business with us.
Yeah,
And I realized that's like the wrong approach. The more we
agreed.
pound our chest and kind of pitch about how good we are, now that I kind of sit on the other side of the table and kind of hear somebody doing that, I realize how unattractive that may come
Agreed.
off as. And our job in marketing actually has more to do with qualifying the leads. And when they're more qualified, and we understand that they actually need the solution and help we're providing, that's a much better mindset, because we're at the end of the day, we're attracting, we're not, and we're filtering out the folks that we want to work with.
Agreed.
And from a positioning, a sense of power dynamic standpoint, we're in a much better position.
Agreed. Agreed.
So let's go over some of these questions our viewers have. In terms of comps, Ray, what are some factors that you use to run comps?
Okay, so then let's get into the property type that I'm underwriting. We'll just start with a basic is off of a single family. Just because this market has, like, the feds have lifted rates and we're all over the place, so I'm really only looking back for like 60 to 90 days back. Um, I'm really trying to look for a like. So if it's a brick ranch, it can't be a siding ranch. But I'm keeping with the same type of home style, so I can't comp a brick ranch to a bi-level. Those aren't comparable. And then again, like I said, it's about emotions. You know, I can't get emotional about it, and try to fudge the numbers. If I can't find a comp in the area, um, I will go ahead and time travel back a little bit, but I'm not going to expand my search and jump any major roads or gulches or any of those lines that we know in the neighborhoods. But generally, my comping rule is half a mile. I will go out to a mile because that's what our appraiser is going to look at. And then whenever I'm putting it under contract as a property that we're going to flip, I'll go ahead and double check my numbers and I'll send it out to one of my appraisers and ask them, hey Bob, what do you think about this property? Can you run a board on this and give me your opinion on it? But yeah, that's basically a good comping lesson. Don't jump any major roads. It's better to go ahead and time travel back and then take a look at where that interest rate is and try to make an educated guess based off of where interest rates are going to be in the next 60 to 90 days, if that helps.
That's actually a really good tip, Raymond, in terms of looking at and evaluating with the interest rate in mind. And our general guidance is also, don't cross the major roads. You want to stay within the same subdivision if possible.
Yeah.
And obviously, every single comp is so different, and we just have to decide which criteria to relax. And your recommendation is stay within the area and the subdivision if possible. It's okay to relax a little bit on the time frame if there aren't that many comps to choose from.
Yeah, and I think that if we show like wherever you're at, if you're wholesaling or if you're doing the fix and flip, I think that
No, go ahead.
60 or 90 days or less. Yeah, I think so. Like as an investor, like we got to think about it. If I'm going to buy this as a fix and flip and I'm going to resell it, is it going to take me 60, 90 days to go ahead and resell it? Well, what is the appraiser going to go back on? What is he going to look on? He's going to look at the most recent sold properties, and that's how he's going to do evaluation and the underwriting to the loan. So it's really important to have data where you can show the appraiser, because if you're just a wholesaler, let's just say that you're a wholesaler and you're bringing an opportunity to a fix and flipper. If you have everything spelled out and accounted for that fix and flipper, where you have good comps, 60, 90 days back, he can use that, and it makes his job a lot easier. And it shows him that he's going to be able to win on the fix and flip. You guys both make some money and go on to the next deal.
Yeah, so I think one thing, Raymond, that you touched on, I thought it's very important to account for is the more you understand your buyer and how they make money and the criteria that they look for, the more successful you'll be in disposing or selling this property. So a fixer and flipper usually looks at not just the exit price, but how long the house is going to sit on the market. And every single comp is different too. So if you're looking at a comp where it's not fixed up, maybe it needs some work, that's kind of looked at a little bit differently than, say, a rehabbed property that's in the neighborhood. And so you kind of want to ultimately, if you can, group them together. It all depends on the sold transactions, right? How many houses were sold that were available, and you can make those decisions. So Barbara is asking, if my property is like 50%, can I sub to mortgage and seller finance the equity? Okay.
Yes, I'll buy it. Yes, I will buy it. Yes, so that's one strategy that we use often is we leave the existing debt in place, and then we create a second position lien for the remaining equity that's in the property, and that lien spells out the monthly payments that will be made out to you. So everything goes through a title transaction or a title company or closing attorney. But yes, that is a possibility and a good strategy to get the most out of your property in these weird, funky times of real estate. Another thing that I was going to say as far as knowing your buyers, that was one thing that you mentioned. Knowing your knowing your client and what their buy criteria is. So that's actually one of the challenges that I'm working on this month. Is I'm hosting a 30-day challenge to the paycheck. And so if you're a brand new wholesaler, just getting into the market, I don't believe that you should be putting in offers. I think that you should be building your buyers list and understanding and becoming friends with your buyers, walking some properties, walk one of their current fix and flips, and see how much did that kitchen package cost me. How much was that? And you can kind of get a better understanding of what renovation costs are going to cost, and are they actually using hard money or are they using cash? Because if they're using cash, then they can buy a little bit higher than your traditional fix and flipper that's using hard money. So knowing your buyer and what they want to buy is so important and powerful for whenever you're locking up a deal, because you can come in very aggressive with something that makes sense for your buyer and still make a commission. Yeah, that 30-day challenge, it's to figure out, what should come first, the egg or the chicken. Should I put in offers or should I build my buyers list?
All right. So Linda is asking, I don't have network, and where do you find a way to break into wholesaling and flipping?
Awesome. So, and that's part of this 30-day challenge is like, so me, I want to be around, like, I used to be a knucklehead. I was drinking and clubbing and Ray can dance a little bit, so I think, and, I was wanting to be around those kind of people. Well, and I call those people and talk to those people, constantly through the week. So now that I want to be in real estate, it's the same freaking principle. The people that I want to be around, the people that are doing the things I want to do, I can use software and pull a list of buyers, of fix and flippers, landlords, people that own real estate in my area. I can skip trace them and call them up and say, hey, it's Ray. I seen your property over here on 123 Main Street. I was using it as a comp. You got a second to talk about real estate? And just this month, I've expanded my network of people that are doing land developments, multifamily, up to 50 units, and some new single family fix and flippers. I've expanded my network by probably about 15 solid people that I want to bring an opportunity to them. I want to make money with them and do deals with them. So that's how I'd say you don't need a networking event to go to. You just need to go and find those people that are buying real estate in your area, provide them value, whether that's a wholesale deal or I even offered one of our handymen to one of the landlords here in Denver. I was 52-year-old man. I was like, are you looking to buy anymore? He's like, no, I'm good. He's like, but I do need a handyman from time to time. Great. What kind of value can I add to this guy? That's what I would say is like, that's the fastest way to make friends in real estate is always, or make friends in general, is providing value to that person. So skip trace the list, call landlords in your area and see how you can provide value to them. That's what I would suggest.
So let me challenge you a little bit, Raymond, on that. Let's say we're breaking into the industry and we don't know a handyman. How would you recommend in that case to see how you can add value? Like, what are some things? I want to go a little bit deeper here.
What can you do? What resources do you have? Like, how are you trying to expand your, like, all right, so if I'm just moving into another market, and this is what we do whenever, like, if I'm moving into another market, I'm going to go ahead and call the top 10 title companies. I'm going to call them out and I'm going to tell them, hey, Janae, I heard that you are the most investor friendly title company out in Denver. And I'm complimenting them and trying to see where they're at. So you're investor friendly, okay, great. So if I had a property that I couldn't move, would you be able to send this out to your buyers list to some of your clients and see if any of them wanted to buy it? She says yes. Then I know I want to go ahead and keep on working with them. And as the next call goes, I'm going to find out more of the resources that local professionals have at their availability. So I'm going to call title companies, I'm going to call staging companies, and I'm going to call hard money companies. And I'm going to filter through with them and see where their vendors list is as far as contractors, handymans, and all kinds of things. So who's the best hard money that you're seeing? And I'm going to ask the title company, who's the hard money? These are just questions. Like, I'm not having to pay for none of these services. So I'm just asking, who's the hard money lender that you guys use? Okay, great. That hard money lender is going to know who the contractors and the investors are in that area that are players. Sorry, they're gonna know all those things. So then I just added, five title companies to building a relationship with. Hey, if I send you a property that I got under contract, are you good with the double close? Are you good with me making an assignment fee? I'm not an agent. How does that transaction work? I'm setting up where I'm going to open up title. And then I go ahead and pull a list based off of the marketing that I'm going to go after. Am I going after single family? Okay, great. I want to go ahead and pull a list of buyers that have bought in the last 24 months, fix and flip properties. And I'm running off of PropStream. I don't have a referral link on that, but there's a lot of different softwares out there where you can pull a list. And then I pull out a list, and I use a couple other filters in there, but and then I reach out to them, and in that meantime, I've already built up title companies, and maybe I'm not saying that I have a handyman right then unless I do. Who do you use for your staging? Oh yeah, awesome. I met this nice lady over at Pineapple that has investor friendly prices, and trying to provide value any possible way that I possibly can. And again, if it's in your local market, like this 52-year-old man, one of the things that he said, he was like, I'm good with where my income is right now. I'm not buying any more houses. He's like, but if you gave me a big fat check, I would definitely consider selling and not having to go over here and cut the grass anymore. I was like, why don't I just come out there one day whenever you're cutting the grass and come chat about some of your real estate nightmare stories. We all got tenant stories. And he's like, yeah, that'd be nice. So, like, if you have nothing to give of value, you have time, and go out there and talk to them. Like, an investor, like, if you asked me to come and walk one of my fix and flips, I'd tell you to come out and rattle off prices of how much a kitchen package or a bathroom is going to cost, so I can make you into a better wholesaler to bring me deals. So if you have nothing to offer time.
Absolutely. So I want to do a quick housekeeping tip here for everyone who wants to receive a recording of this AMA session. Make sure you register for this event on StreamYard. And when the event is over, you're gonna receive a link to the recordings. Okay, so make sure you do that if you want to have access to this recording and kind of for review this. If you weren't taking notes, I'm sorry. I certainly have taken quite a bit of notes here, and thank you, Ray. Let's see. We have another question. Do you just call all the title company and hard money company. Do you pay them upfront fee or do you just ask?
No, like literally, I called the title companies, and like I said, like God's blessed me with being ugly, so asking questions and building relationships hasn't been a hard thing for me. And I think a lot of people um, get afraid of it. Like all I'm doing is calling the title company and saying, "Hey, I heard you're the most investor-friendly title company out here in Denver. I'm a newer wholesaler, or a newer investor looking to get into this market, and I was wondering, if you could tell me a little bit about the closing process." And these are legitimate things that you should know before you move into a market and say, "Oh, I'm just going to go lock up the property under contract." You should know the way that the title process works. How are you going to know that unless you ask the title company, "Hey, so if I bring you a contract and then you're going to go ahead and open that escrow and then I can go ahead and put my EMD in?" Unless you ask these questions directly to the title company and not some guru that told you this is how it's done, you need to know for yourself, and you need to know, "Oh, I got the contract and now I take it over here," and you need to know the steps. So that's helpful for you to know the steps, and then along that course, great. Well, if I have a contract and none of my buyers want to buy it, do you have clients that could value an off-market property? They're going to say, of course, because what you just did is you brought them a contract, a paycheck, basically, because that title company now is going to turn that contract into money for their business. Of course, they're going to send it out to their buyers if they're investor friendly. And then I asked them, where are you seeing the most hard money loans coming from? And they don't they see it as an opportunity to help you to be successful, for them to make money in their business. So it's not a hard question. Don't overthink that one. They'll give it to you freely. They want to help you. Where's your go-to market now, Florida? For later sales, or will you skip those areas? For me, because there's some probably, I don't know if there's any litigation or any kind of class action that could ever come of this, as far as being a predatory buyer. Like America has laws that protect homeowners. Is this a national disaster area? Do I want to spend the time in those areas? No. If it's a national disaster area, I'm generally staying away from it, just because something might come up later on. We've seen that we are on the top 5 in America as far as equity growth goes in Denver. So I just basically stay in the markets that I know. I do travel to Arizona as well. So I say knowing your market, knowing where you're putting in offers at, because I don't know, knowing the area will allow you to determine if on Colfax, in this area of Colfax, there's prostitutes and pimps and drugs and everything else right here on this side, but a little bit up the road, we're good. So knowing your market, I think, is important. If Florida's your market, I don't know, talk to the buyers that are there, pull a list of buyers and become friends with those buyers and see what their opinion is. But for me, I don't really have an opinion of Florida. I don't know.
So I'll add a little bit of color here to this question. So back in 2018, the Houston market was hit hard by Harvey, and it hit other markets too, but Houston got really hit hard, and a lot of places got flooded, and it actually represented a boom for real estate investors who are looking for houses, because the folks that got home damages, there's a lot of emotional um, there are a lot of emotional feelings that they want to get out of that area. They go, well, I don't want to live in an area in a house that gets flooded, and every however many years, now I got this risk, and I have to move away. I get evacuated. So it creates some very interesting opportunities for motivated sellers. Um, I was reading this article about um, places that get flooded. What happens is the area gets gentrified over time, and the folks that can't afford the repairs, they end up moving away, and then the investors come in. We fix it up, and then brought in the folks that are higher income and they can afford the newer builds. So just kind
Agreed.
of some interesting, just adding some flavor to the question here.
Agreed. But so like I'm a bias, like I'm a little bit different just because whenever I'm doing wholesaling, like I'm looking for opportunities that I can either buy myself to fix and flip, or I can go ahead and buy as a rental. So I'm only fishing in ponds that I want to stay in. I'm not really fishing over in Florida and Georgia. I want to, if I land a good fish, I want to keep it. I want it to be in an area that I want to keep it at, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
no,
So
Florida.
So this leads to a really good question. I'm trying to find it. There was a question about rentals.
Mm-hmm.
Rentals. How do you break? How much money is enough to break into doing rentals?
How much enough break into doing rentals? So again, like we are hosting an event next month on Thursday, and we're going to be talking about OPM, other people's money. So breaking into doing rentals. I think the question is, how much money should you have to break into rentals? I don't know. I don't know if there's ever enough. But I would say, again, JVing with somebody that might have skills and the bankroll to do it. Maybe you have a credit that you can use. Maybe you have a good W-2 that you can leverage to buying into a rental. And then I don't have the answer for that. Like for me to tell you $20,000 does it, I can't tell you that because I don't know what market you're in. I don't know where you're trying to buy in a rental. I bought a rental in Pueblo for $8,000. It was a sub 2 property. I used an additional $15,000 to add a bedroom and do some renovation on the property, and then I rented it out as a co-living rental. So I really don't have an answer for you on how much capital you should have. But once you do see a rental, I would say, do I have 6 months worth of holding costs? Because tenants suck. They don't pay you. They clog the toilet, and all the cash flow that you thought you were going to make, don't even consider it. Don't even say, oh yeah, I'm going to have an extra $500 every month. Don't even add that to your net profit. Because just think of that as, don't even look at it, because like I said, tenants sometimes don't pay. So I don't have an answer for how much money you should have.
And Ray, the co-living model is getting all the rage now, especially in the sub 2 community. And I know you run a very active sub 2 group on Facebook. Could you tell us more about the co-living model? What that means? Maybe start with that. What that means, and how do you break into that? Why is it interesting to you?
So I think that it really is a good thing. It's good for all people that are involved in it. Um, as far as breaking into the co-living atmosphere of it, again, it's going to vary based off of how much money capital you have available. Or, but I bought a couple houses. I got four of them now, and they've all been sub two or owner finance properties. Meaning I'm putting, about 10% of the purchase price down. So $400,000 house, putting about 40K into it. And the co-living model is basically, we build out the living room and the dining room. We add bedrooms in there because it wouldn't cash flow with long-term rentals. So we force value into it by adding bedrooms in there. We may or may not add furniture in the bedrooms, but we'll furnish the living room and the kitchen, plates, everything. Like you come in, bring your bedroom or bring your toothbrush and you move in. And the what this solves is, and the more I get into it, now I'm seeing that it's not really about the investment that I make the return, the cash flow every month that I'm seeing. It's more about the people that we're helping. I got some 65-year-old plus old men and Social Security. And this is why you should get in real estate, is because if we allow Social Security that's our retirement. I got a couple guys that make anywhere from $1,600 to $1,800 a month on Social Security. You cannot qualify for a one-bedroom efficiency studio based off of those numbers because of the ratio. They're not going to rent to you. So the guys, they're stuck. Like they can't find affordable housing if they want to live in Colorado. They have to actually move. So this is a good offset. The guy pays $675 a month for room and utilities. Has a shared kitchen, has a shared bathroom, and he lives his life. He tends to the garden and just lives his retired life. Or I got a couple other ones that are young adults. That I got one that her and her boyfriend moved in together and it didn't work out. And she's like, oh shit, like where am I gonna go? Like, he has my security deposit in the house, and I got about $1,000, to move. Like, bad situation. The breakup could be a domestic violence, it could be all kinds of different things, scenarios. Or maybe they're relocating from Florida, moved to Colorado, and now just starting a job. Like, how much money are these people actually going to have in their savings? The average American, I don't know what we're down to, but the average American doesn't have $5,000 in savings. So how are they going to pay for first, last, and security deposit, turn on utilities, and all that other stuff? So it just gives a solution to people that are trying to start over, stack money, and look at the next stage of their life.
Yeah, I find a way of providing affordable housing that's more closer to maybe not like government housing, but
Right.
privately owned. What's your criteria? What's your qualification criteria for these tenants? I'm curious about that. I know that
So
long-term rental, especially when let's say we have a property manager, the qualification is much more stringent. We do credit check, felony check, and all those income check. What are some guidelines that you follow when you manage your own properties?
So we have to be cautious of the person that we're bringing in there. So I don't want to mix a 65-year-old and a 22-year-old. And different houses are going to have different things on it. But we do run through a credit check, and I don't care. Like, maybe you're just starting out. Maybe you're 21 years old and you're just starting out. public school doesn't teach us about credit. So like, how do we expect these kids to know about credit if nobody's teaching them? That's one of the things that we provide is we give courses to our co-living tenants on how to
Nice.
build. So I'm not worried about your credit. I'm worried about the bills that I can see on there. Are you leveraged? Are you not making payments? You know, do you have no credit? Like that's a big factor. Like as far as like trying to read through their credit report, and then on a background, like was it domestic violence? Does it show like what the were you arguing with your girlfriend and it got cops called on you? Like generally, I don't know what, and I probably can't even talk about it because I don't know what we can and cannot discriminate on as far as backgrounds go. I'm not a property management or tax advisor or attorney, just a guy that's trying to make it in real estate. So don't hold me to this. But I'm generally looking at like, okay, would I want to live with this person? You know, I'm not really concerned about, you know, misdemeanor drug charges and little stupid stuff, especially if it was in the past and we can show that, you know, there's been a good gap in time. Other than that, I'm really looking at their job placement. And one of my questions is, okay, where do you see yourself in the next year and, you know, 1 to 2 years? Like if you don't have goals and you don't have a vision and you don't have like, oh, I'm just working, you know, I'm just going to work this 9 to 5 and hope for the best, then you're probably not a good fit for the environment that we're trying to create because we offer resources and entrepreneurship, like, and see, forgive me, but this is like my 2024 mission is like us as
Yeah.
entrepreneurs is that we've made it. It is our obligation now to produce something in the next generation. If we can't give back to the next generation, whether it's in anything that you've done, anything that you've been successful at, even if you're just a freaking stay-at-home mom and you're successful at that, you need to be giving something back to the next generation. So that's really what our environment of the co-living is producing something out of it. So, you know, that's one of our guidelines on there. And then on the income coming in, we'll work with your deposits, like, you know, as far as your monthly deposit, if we got to make payments on it, and just the feel of the person, you know, where you're going and what's your morals and your vibe. Yeah.
I love that. And I want to talk to you more about your co-living and the environment that you're trying to create. I want to learn a little more, and perhaps let's take this opportunity. So aside from, so it sounds like you're offering some level of financial education, right? Because we don't get that in public school. And you mentioned entrepreneurial environment. Maybe you can share a little more about those because I think that's a very inspiring mission.
So now that we have Chat GTP, right? Like we have no excuse. And as you can see, I fumble with my words a little bit and jumble a little bit. So for anybody to say, "Oh, it's not in me and I can't do it," that's an excuse, and that's just saying that I don't want to deal with it. But like I said, it is our obligation to give back to the next generation. So what I do is I ask Chat, what's the top 10 ways to go ahead and build credit? It gives me a list. I go ahead and make that list my own, and then I use that and put that into a training video. And like this is like, guys, I started off as a contractor, so there's no excuse. Like as far as I'm not tech savvy, me either. But we have the tools now at our availability where I can use Chat and then I can create a video and it does it for me, and then I use this training video and I send it out to the guys, and then I follow up with them on monthly, because what I'm doing is I'm establishing a relationship with these guys and I'm adding value to them. Are these guys going to stay in my house? Hell yeah, they are. I got 2 veterans that are now applying to go ahead and get a mortgage. So they're going to go and buy a fourplex, and they're going to start their journey in real estate. our room filled up in Colorado Springs based off of one of these guys telling his friends, "Hey, I just came from here, this cool environment. Would you like to stay here?" I'm like, "Yeah, that works, you know." And so they're going to advocate for you as far as the environment that you're creating, because now you're helping them go into their next journey of life, whether that's credit, buying a house, cleaning up their credit. We got credit repair guys. I do road mapping for goals. And like I said, like if you can give them a vision, you can give anybody a vision of where they want to go, then you can reap the benefits off of them, you know. And that's what I think, you know. They want to stay, you know.
I love that your work, Raymond, that as a community builder too. You're with the co-living spaces. You're building communities. You're starting. It's gonna start with mini communities, and that's gonna continue to grow. So I'm very excited for you about on that.
Bro, I meet some cool kids over there. I
Yeah.
met or software developer, 24 years old. He's like, "Yeah, I got $14,000 in the bank saved up, and I'm relocating." I'm like, "Where else do I get an opportunity to firsthand meet some cool people?" You know, so I see it like that. I see it like some people struggle with it and make a virtual assistant deal with it, but I want to meet more people and see how I can be a resource to them.
Yeah, and I see your eyes light up too when you talk about it. I know it's near and dear to your heart and your passion. I love that. I think we have a couple more questions, but our time is going up. So I want to give us some opportunity to market to share with you some of Raymond's deals that are live right now. I'm gonna just bring that up on stage, and Raymond, maybe you can tell us more about these deals.
So this property right now needs some structural repair, but it's overall a cosmetic in and out fix and flip down in Colorado Springs. We have crews and structural engineer all available. Again, like I said, sometimes this is an opportunity for you to JV in if you have skills or resources, time, or maybe you just have the money. These are opportunities that we look at all the time. But good solid flip. It's in a neighborhood. It's hard to comp. This goes back to one of those comping things as far as some neighborhoods are considered a buy to die, meaning people come there and they buy a house and they live in there for the next 40 to 60 years, and then they pass it on to their kids. So this is one of those neighborhoods, but we do have two solid comps.
And so for clarity, and we created these graphics. So for clarity, what's your asking for this house, Raymond? Is it 330?
330. Yep.
79? Could you
330? Yeah.
330.
Yes.
Is the asking price. And this is a cash deal?
Yes.
Got it.
I didn't throw any sub twos in there just because I don't know if there's attorneys or anybody in the audience.
We're interested in sub twos.
I'll send you one.
Yeah, excellent. We can help you market it. Okay, let's talk about this one.
This is a duplex operating as a triplex right now. So meaning it has 3 kitchens in it, but only 2 meters. This is in a hot area of Sloan's Lake, Denver. It doesn't work as a scrape and new build. If you look at the address, you'll walk the area, you'll see that there are numerous new builds. I think that there's only 5 remaining houses that aren't scraped, but this would be a great cash deals. Heads up before they slip away. Oh, that was you. Yeah, so this actually is a good one because I couldn't get the funding all the way put together on my side of it. I needed to raise up probably another $60K worth of capital to take this one down myself and do it as a BRRRR where I bought, renovated, and refinanced. So this is one that you're competing on. As far as soon as I raise up the additional capital, we'll take this one down and keep this one in our portfolio and not flip it. but it does work as a fix and flip.
Awesome. So guys, our time is up. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate you so much for sharing your insights. I got some really awesome tips from you, and hope you have fun also. For those of you who have more questions that you couldn't address, go ahead and fill out. Either you can post your questions on the comments, and we can send it to Ray. We will also send out a feedback survey. So we're always looking for ways to improve your experience with our events. So make sure you fill that out so we understand, how do we improve the experience of this event, and maybe we have feedbacks for Ray as well. So thank you so much. Appreciate everybody for joining us, and Ray, look forward to talking to you more and talking about more deals. And really appreciate you sharing your mission today. So appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Have a good day. Have a good Thursday. Bye-bye.